Hello everyone, Sientir here with VOD of Consciousness, and today I'm trying to change up my introduction a little bit. So let's get ourselves back in here, and last time I showed you what happens if you try to have a dance party. What does Dunbury say? I imagine Dunbury says something. Okay, he tells more about stuff. Me about past events. The situation is grim. The five gods have given their blessing, requests, but that will not make it easier. Everything now hinges on your victory in the next battle. May the five gods preserve you. I know I missed some words. Current events. Abaddon's physical form is changed to pillars of stone. He will fight you with all his power, but those chains were forged by Balthazar and cannot be broken easily. You'll need to activate the stone statues to resecure Abaddon and then find a way to defeat him. I'll pray for you, friend. So apparently Balthazar has some forging that he does. There's definitely a smith deep in his realm in the Fissure of Woe. Maybe one of these days I'll go into the Fissure of Woe. That'll probably be like a week. I'm going to ignore Cormier's little speech here because we saw that last time. So what we need to do is we just need to go down here. We need to kill some graven monoliths to pin his hands while not getting our butts handed to us, and then attack his face mouth thing. Reminds me a little bit of Bongo Bongo too, actually, now that I think about it. But that's actually probably a better comparison as Bongo Bongo from Ocarina of Time, where you have to take out his hands. I mean, they've done a bunch of bosses like that in the Legend of Zelda series, but where you basically have to take out his hands, and then you can take out his face for a little bit, and then you go back to his hands and face and kind of cycle through them. I don't remember this being especially difficult. Like, I think there's some high damage output, but it's kind of spiky, not high pressure. Okay, so I'm going to need... Well, maybe Lightbringer's Gaze is good against Abaddon. I don't remember. But once we take out both of these, what happens is that thing charges and sucks his arm down. Then we need to come over here. Man, I was about to hit V to roll, which doesn't make any sense. This game isn't that game. So he has some skills that he uses that are like special dangerous-ish skills. But like I said, I just don't recall this being especially difficult. So we'll see how reality compares to my memories. But killing these things charges the restraints. And you can see that arm is now restrained. Ooh, we've got some epic music going. Yeah, now it's just a matter of pile damage on him while damage can be piled on him. He is really resistant to hexes and stuff. That's what I'm seeing. Oh, a lot of those are probably hexes that are not useful. Yeah, and then we just have to just repeat this. So, our builds are probably a little suboptimal for doing what needs to be done here. Like, in retrospect, I'd change at least Elias and Glenn. You'll notice we don't have a debuff in the area either, and we're getting lots of morale boosts, so... Excuse me. Same recording day, same recording cold. That's just how it works, unfortunately. Word of Madness is really annoying. Yeah, this is just going to take several rounds because our DPS isn't the best. Actually not terrible either. But like what Elias is trying to do is not as efficient as I would like for dealing with him. And he has Well of Blood, which does literally nothing. There are no... Well of Blood only works if one of us goes down, and that's just suboptimal. You usually don't want to play around too much your party dying, on account of you generally don't want that to happen. So you can see, like, there's random really annoying stuff that he drops, but for the most part it's just quite deal-withable. That's a word. Was the last skill I needed? No, I got Carter's Signet. Sorry, there's like a couple of elite skills that I need to get, and I'm trying to remember what exactly they are. Man, like, we've really not even been attacking these guys, and my spirits have taken out like half of them. Yeah, and like Lightbringer's Gaze works on Abaddon and does like 48 damage or whatever, but he's got high armor, is what I'm saying. I think we're gonna win. It's just gonna take like another 2 or 3 cycles of like suboptimal build. I mean, to be fair, the previous mission was easier than I was expecting it to be, so I don't know what to take that as a sign of, but blind. Thankfully it's a relatively short blind. Hopefully the spirits are currently positioned a bit closer to Abaddon, so they'll do a bit more damage. Felt like that was a problem last time. Yeah, we don't want Torment Claws lying around. I remember that being one of the issues you had to deal with. Hey, I got that off at least. Yeah, some of the spirits are attacking. Got some up closer that'll attack. That's good. Okay, looks like there's, like I said, 1 to 2 more cycles. Gotta kill these Graven Monoliths. And, yeah, there's occasional damage spikes, but, like, not much sustained pressure. And the lack of sustained pressure is really what makes this less threatening. Like, large damage spikes are scary, but when there's no follow-up, like right now, Zenmai's HP is, like, draining and stuff, but the follow-up was so far apart that we have plenty of time to actually heal her, as an example. Now we just need to clear these guys. I don't know why they're putting so many enchantment on me, but I did give Protective Spirit, by the way, to one of the monks. Just, it's too strong of a skill not to. No, let's get this Torment Claw out of here. I think these ones have to be killed last, and if you kill them early, they respawn. I'm not sure on that. So many knockdowns. Again, like, strong skills, like Daze and Knockdown and stuff are really powerful effects, but there's just no follow-through. I do remember it being harder on hard mode, but I don't remember it being especially that much harder. And even, like, restraining Abaddon again seems to do additional damage to him, so I think we're pretty likely to just take him out on this time. Yeah, there he goes. Hey, he dropped 100 gold for us. And this is how Cormyr became a deity. He absorbs Abaddon's godhood.
No. Yes. Cormyr. And much more.
Abaddon?
No. His power, his knowledge, but not him. His will is broken. There is a new god of secrets. There is a new day. Nightfall has come and gone. I have much to do. Much must be repaired. This will take you home, or to wherever you desire.
Cormyr, if you need help.
Yes, I will. But for the moment you have your world back. The gods spoke the truth. It is your world. Use it wisely.
Of course.
And remember, my friend, you never fight alone.
Aha! Fast enough to get the Master's Reward. So then we go into the Throne of Secrets, which is sort of the post-game area, which you might have seen before. So we'll take a little bit of time here, because we had a little bit of a journey. So they talk about being able to lay down their burdens. Abaddon's defeated and the souls of the night realm are free. The spirit of the ancient gods smile upon you, human, this day and for always. My sacred charge is finished. I can lay down my burden at last, all because of this brave soul. Greetings, brave one. I am here to aid you. You have but to ask. I don't think we can actually go beyond them. They're just happy that all those are taken care of. One of the things you'll see is that there are now a bunch of joyous souls where there had been like mad spirits and demented spirits and other things like that. With Abaddon gone, my spirit can finally be at peace. And here we see hastily created the goddess statue for Cormyr. Yeah, they probably have a lot of repeated dialogue in this area. Let's see. This work. Not sure if this... Yes, it works. So that summons the avatar of Cormyr. Hi, my friends, which is... Hi is just kind of the generic greeting. The music here is really loud, isn't it? Life brings us many twists. My new station has not blinded me. My eyes have adjusted to the darkness between the stars. I sense celestial movement beyond comprehension. Without you, none of this would be possible. You will forever be my chosen ones. If you have need of me, come to the Chantry of Secrets and kneel before my statue. I will always listen. So, yeah, this is something that we can check out in a moment. But you can see some details on here. She has a book of knowledge. She still has the blindfold, but she also has Abaddon's helmet that she's kind of like conquered, like standing on and that sort of thing. This is a really crazy cool skybox. I love these sort of otherworldly places with weird, crazy skyboxes like this. I think it's something that could be done more in games. Like, games in general spend an awful lot of time trying to mimic our world to some degree, and I think it's really cool when they don't do that, when they explore the greater than that. Menlo says, stop for a moment, Carmen Angelus, or character name. Inhale the air of your victory. On this day, you have done something greater than mortal men. You have ended the insanity of a god. And Eve says, and created a new god, something that has not happened since ancient times. Devona says, I can't imagine what would have happened to Ilona if you hadn't been here, Carmen Angelus. And Sin says, I can. It mostly revolves around fire and pain and cities filled with zombies. Aiden says, that's enough, Sin. I think it's like Cinder, so that's why I'm pronouncing it that way. And Eve says, actually, Sin, I thought it was rather delightful. She's a necromancer, Eve is, with her skull Adam, if I remember correctly. And Aiden says, Ilona has a chance at a new life. That is more than we mortals are given. Cormier's new divinity is a blessing. Those she loves will be forever safe. I wish I could be so fortunate. She says, we should head back to Ascalon. Peace is boring. Sin does. And Devona says, Ilana still has trouble, Sin. They still need heroes, but I think Carmen and Angelus can handle it from here. I kind of wish these guys could become heroes. That would have been really cool. Menlo says, Devona is right. The future of Ilona is in your hands, Carmen and Angelus. Come, my friends, let us return home. I imagine if heroes had been implemented from the start, they probably would be. But she says, good job, hero. I heard the elders are planning a statue of you in Commodon. That would be interesting. Menlo, our familiar friend from Factions campaign and prophecies and whatnot, he says, your courage is inspirational. May Balthazar bless you for what you have done in these lands, hero. Eve says, well, 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 if it isn't the conquering hero, not bad at all. Hi. That's a lot of, like, buckles. Like, that's Final Fantasy level buckles. She's on her buckle game, is what I'm saying. Here's Devona. She says, I can't believe you confronted a god. And won. I've never heard anything like it. Necromancer, warrior. They do not have a mesmer. I don't know why they didn't give a mesmer to this group, but they didn't. And Aiden says, Melandrius clearly blessed her path. Well done. Then there's a bunch of joyous souls in here. I think they all just say the same sort of thing, so I'm not going to talk to all of them. These are a bunch of Nightfall henchmen. All of this end-of-the-world business has made me realize what's really important in life. Family. I will journey to Tyria and join my sister, Eridine. Perhaps I can help her in her work. Thank you for everything. Oh, thank Duena, that's over. Nothing personal. You did a great job, but all I want right now... whatever, the dialogue's vanishing. You can pause the video and read these. There are, brilliant hero and still looking fabulous. It could have been worse, I suppose. At last you make your place among legends, like me. And Garaz says, the wind speaks of your victory, all alone whispers your name. But yeah, you can back up and pause the video to read what they have to say. So there's some important NPCs coming up. Koss says, hi, my friend. We've traveled the whole continent together, and even fought a god. I bet now you're grateful that you took me along with you. You couldn't have done it without old Koss. Milani says, I believe that Melandrius' hand guided me to your side. Through you, Istan and its people were saved. Thank you for all you have done. She says, Varish is defeated and Abaddon destroyed. This is a great day for Ilona. Varish is kind of a mad acolyte of Abaddon that caused things to happen. It's interesting that it's playing pre-steering music right now. Koss says, it was my honor to fight by your side, old friend. But right now it's playing music that plays in pre-steering Ascalon. So one of the things that happens when you come into this zone is you'll notice there's a couple of NPCs with exclamation points over their head. So there are a couple of points where you have to make choices about what heroes to collect. And so for example, at one point you have to pick between Acolyte Sasuke and Acolyte Jin. Acolyte Sasuke is an elementalist. Elementalists are generally a little bit more useful. And she's a ranger. So she says, good day, noble hero, your deeds prove... So what you can do in this zone is you can pick quests to collect the heroes that you did not get, where you had to make a choice about who to pick up. So, excuse me. So she says, your deeds prove that you possess great honor and commitment to the good of the nation. I too revere these things. Let me serve you, and I will bring honor to your house. Will you accept my sword? If you do, please tell General Haya so he may write your name into the scrolls of our people. So we can bring her with us. Another choice, Yeah, she says, best bet I ever lost. 50 gold is not very much, by the way, in this game. But one of the other choices was between Margaret the Sly and the Master of Whispers. I do not know why this character with Margaret the Sly, except that usually you go with Master of Whispers because he's a necromancer. Necromancers are usually more useful than rangers. And he says, the fire, the explosions, the valiant fights. It's a tale of heroes, and you're the greatest one. I told you once before, there is no danger so great that a courageous heart cannot overcome it. This is a centaur. Yes, a centaur. He just says victory. He's an elementalist as well. Master of Whispers. He says, hi, character name. I must apologize for all my manipulations. While I have not been part of your group, I have been watching your operation, assisting behind the scenes as much as I can. Now that we have achieved a large measure of success, I wish to come out of the shadows and work by your side. I ask but one favor. Can you carry a message to my men telling them we were successful? And I will deliver your message. It's good to know you are an ally all along. And he says, the Word of Whispers is indebted to you for all that you have done. Alona does not know the full extent of your actions. We do. So this is the Master of Whispers, at this time period. He's a cool dude. He has a gem, actually, in Guild Wars 2, which is pretty interesting. Vancoro says, I never could have planned for this day, but all the same, I'm glad to see it. His kind of character shtick is he's a massive planner. He, loves to plan. All of his time he spends planning. Man, I just love the crazy unearthly aesthetic here, otherworldly aesthetic. And like I said, this is something that I'd like to see more often. This guy, yeah, it just says the generic thing that this guy say. Gorn and Norgu, I probably have a quest to pick one of them. I rarely do it because it's kind of, brains are brawn. And you basically have some quests that you pick between them. Gorn says, are you really going to travel the world with us, Talcora? I thought when all this was over, you'd head back home to be a princess. She's a princess, by the way. And she says, I'm not cut out to be a princess. Besides, a lot of people out here need heroes. Now that I really am one, I'm going to do my best for them. Norgu says, we'd be ever so very happy to have you along, dear maiden. But are you certain on this decision? The world is a very big place, and you're a very small girl, after all. And Talcor says, I'm sure. This is what's right for me. I can feel it. The world is calling my name, and I'm not afraid to answer. Not anymore. Gorn says, I'm glad, Talcora, but don't forget about Vabi. I'll be waiting to welcome you home someday. And Norgu probably says something about writing a play. He's a playwright. He says, I remember you from Vabi. Yes, that's precisely what I thought. I'm writing a play about your adventures called Norgu's Nightfall. To write it, though, I need to hear the real stories. I'd like to join your troupe, interview you, and get the real story for my play. But first, you'll need to sign an agreement and honor Hill, so I can write it without worrying about silly things like, royalties. Will you do that? He said, of course I'll sign away my rights. This is for posterity, right? So he'll join. He says, the streets of Abi will overflow with celebration. Goran is a warrior, and he says, I'd like to fight alongside you, you being a great hero and all. I used to work for Prince Baka, and then I did some freelance bodyguarding. But here's the thing. I ran up some expenses while I was in Baka's service. Hey, Prince Baka owes you a favor. You could ask him to forgive my debt, and then I could do stuff for you. And so we say, I'd love to have you working with us. I'll talk to Baka and see what I can do about that debt. Aha, hero. I want to be just like you. Halkora says, we did it. We really did it. I can't believe it. We're heroes. A bunch more Forgotten Keepers. Elias and Zenmai are special heroes. You can only get them from when you have Nightfall in one of the other campaigns. So you get Zenmai when you go to Factions, and you get Olias from Prophecies. And he says, when I served Korna was Varish. So when I served Korna, you were my enemy. They say, excuse me, a man is defined by the enemies he chooses. I think of no better way to be remembered than as a soldier that served by your side. Not a general, not a commander, just your friend. Excuse me, that's some serious coughing. Sorry about all that. Need to record stuff and can't always choose when I'm sick. If I could choose when I'm sick, I'd never be sick. I think that's the truth. It says, by Grant's blessing, you succeeded where another would have failed. Remember his part in all this, hero, and praise him even as you are praised. She says, in Cantho, we bow very low to heroes and to emperors. That is the way I'll bow to you. And General Morgan says, Lissa must have heard my prayers. Korna is saved and my dishonor is forgiven. Praise the 6 gods. And then there's a bunch of more like people who are happy here. So there's a couple of important individuals here. There is, for example, the Keeper of Armor. We can go to him, and these are just like generic headpieces, but we can get the Primeval Armor set here. You can see it requires a bunch of steel ingots and iron ingots and 15k a piece. So you have to bring all of those materials with you if you want to make those. It's something will have to think about. It's very expensive. Would kind of bankrupt me. And then there's this guy who makes some weird crafting equipment with just like the general Elonan skins. Like the machetes and the adamantine shields and stuff. Untouched scythe, which is actually a pretty reasonable scythe skin, in my opinion. But nothing to write home about there. But what we have is we have the Keeper of Secrets and the fireworks that include bees for some reason, and the credits. And he says, "You have done that which even the 5 gods were unable to do. For that you shall be rewarded. Please take this book of secrets, present it to any of the keepers you see here, and they will reward you." So this is just an exchange item. They do this in all of the campaigns. And you can talk to one of these guys and be like, "Hey, I want random things." So you can get like these Ungues of the Forgotten, or Talons of the Forgotten, or the Split Chakram of the Forgotten. These are just different skins. These are functionally identical. But those are some assassin things. Keeper of Steel. So there's the Forgotten Axe, the Forgotten Sword, Forgotten Hammer, Shields. Forgotten Shield's not a bad skin. Keeper of Elements is going to be for Elementalists. Nature is going to be for Rangers. So there's the Forgotten Staff and the Golden Boar Scepter. These guys are just some different bows. I like this recurve bow right here is really good for a specific Ranger build that wants the crippling mod on it. Flat bows. Yeah, then there's just a couple of different types of bows. Like a horn bow is really good for spiking because it has inbuilt increased damage and stuff. Armor penetration, I think. This is probably monk. So my choices are either a spear, but like the thing is I have the Steldrummer javelin, so let's see. There's a potential choice for Spirit of the Forgotten, which I might consider. These shields are kind of wonky. Keeper of the Scythes. There's the Eyes of the Forgotten, the Hand of the Forgotten, and the Claw of the Forgotten, but none of these are things that I'm looking for. So, honestly, as I think about it, the best choice is probably Spirit of the Forgotten. If I want an enchanting spear, which I don't think I have. I have some other random spears. Like I have this random vampiric spear that probably needs some better mods. This zealous one. I've generally been using this furious one that I got from beating prophecies. So I think the best choice is going to be Spirit of the Forgotten. So I'm going to grab that. And that's the reason why I'm grabbing this specifically is because the mods are particularly useful. +5 energy is fine, but it's the enchantments last 20% longer. There's a couple of instances where I could potentially use this for a couple of its properties. So, for example, if I'm doing something where I'm using a Monk Elite that's an enchantment, having the enchantment increase is really useful. I think these are kind of like... Yeah, this is just like a generic Sword of Sword. So those are kind of the things that I'm doing. Yeah, so what that means is it's cleared up stuff so I can go do some questing that I wanted to do. I've done a bunch of these now. If I want to complete this, I have to fill in a bunch more missions, but that's something that I might pursue at some point in time. Robert Garriott. Victoria Richardson. Oh, this is NC. NCSoft owns ArenaNet, for anyone who didn't know. So, I don't know. I guess I'll let the credits kind of play out. But I'm going to just let that go. I haven't been paying attention to them. You can have paid attention to them if you wanted to. I guess I should mention while I'm here that you can support me on patreon.com/Sientir if you want to. It's always appreciated. And what my plan is going to be, I should add, next time, is I have those elite skills that I'm missing. Let me get that out of the way. So I'm missing a another motivation skill. There's one other skill. I'm really glad to have beaten Gate of Madness, by the way. But Song of Restoration is one of them, which I couldn't get because I needed to beat this to be able to get access to it. When was it? While this is going, I'm just trying to figure out what other things I was wanting to do. Got. There's Focused Anger. Look, okay, got the 4 motivation. 3, so I just need those. Let's see. Oh, right. I remember what the last one was. It was Incoming. Because Incoming was like some ridiculous convoluted mess to get. Okay, cool. So my goal next time will be predominantly to get those skills. This is just going to be a long episode. That's okay. I'll go ahead and begin writing up my summary of it that you'll be able to read beneath it. Okie dokie. So I'm just gonna let this this kind of roll for now, and hopefully not cough too much. Let's see if I can find a better view of these fireworks. Bees! I would love to know what the story behind the bees is. It feels like they had a particle effect floating around, and they're just like, we can turn this into a firework. That'd be a great story to get, actually. It's one of those things where I kind of wish they'd done this extra wide. But, oh well. And there's these bees again. These crazy wall scrolls with text on them. I'm not sure if that's any sort of actual real-world text. It reminds me a little bit of some like Middle Eastern scripts. Or something more in that general vicinity. Middle East, West Asia, sort of that area. But I don't know if it's actually based on anything or what. Is that supposed to be Lion Team? L-Tenon? More of these cool purple wall scrolls. Random group of Forgottens over here. Edge of the world. Whirling abyss. I love the skybox. I know I said that already, but I just want to emphasize, like, there's so much potential for fantastical settings that is so often we're derivative of Earth. And it's understandable why we tend to be so derivative of Earth. But I really genuinely like stuff that is reaching like this is. Where it's saying, well, what if we took that and twisted it? What if we made it something different, unusual, new? And I love the results. And that's something that I'd love to see more of in gaming in general. Again, so often we're inspired by what we know that I'd like to see effort made to stretch beyond what we know. It's interesting the different sorts of skins that you see. Like a nobleman. This looks like an Ascalonian soldier. Ascalonian peasant. From like pre-searing type things. Crazy. Wow, there's a lot of different branches of NCSoft with credits here. Ah, yes. Jeremy and Julian Soul. Soul Brothers. I made the music for this game, and I'm quite fond of it. Or the whole series, really. Do a little bit of back and forth action to play up the 3D-ness of it. Oh, this is for the voice acting. Let's see. Any names I recognize? Kerry Walgren. I feel like I recognize that one. Nolan North, of course. Hey, it looks like the voice actors might have some of the last billing in this. That's interesting. I love this music. Okay. Let's see if when those credits go, if there's any final thing. What do you say? Engineer. Okay. That looks like that just about brings us to a close. I'm going to go ahead and talk to Volatis here. He says, "How courageous, how stalwart you are. Ah, but you must be ready for home and hearth. It is time for you to return to the lands you know. Are you ready to leave this place? If you are, then my sacred wind magic can take you wherever you need to go. Can you take me to Abaddon?" Of course. And now we go to Abaddon, Jewel of Easton. A place where players still hang out. Oh yes, we get this.
Ilona, land of the golden sun. A land of wealth and bounty. A land of heroes. A land protected by its champions. A shadow fell upon this land once. The shadow of an ancient and forgotten darkness. Night fell, and the time of the 5 gods ended. Yet after every night comes a new dawn of a new day, and a time for new heroes. In Ilona, the land of the golden sun.
There we go. Wasn't that nice? And with that, I close this extra long episode to a close. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.